Hi, everyone, and welcome to our first Daisypod. I am so excited to be here today with you guys with our very first guest, Mia Dio, our favorite sugar baby queen. If you want to introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mia Dio, better known as your favorite sugar baby lifestyle coach, etc., on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, basically anywhere that they'll allow me on. So it is what it is. And I'm super excited to be here with you. Thank you so much for having me on.
No, thank you for accepting this. I was so glad that you were up for it. And correct me if I'm wrong, you've been doing this for 3 years? Content creation?
So there's actually gaps in the timeline. I started when I was 14 years old on YouTube, and I kind of did see some success on there. Nothing as big as I would later see on TikTok. But I took a break from YouTube. I went to college, finished all of that. And then during the pandemic, when everyone was stuck at home back in 2020, I started uploading my TikToks as your favorite sugar baby. And that's when everything started taking off. So I would say that I've been a full-time content creator. This is my job since 2020. So now we're in 4 years, basically 4 years more or less.
Okay. Oh, that's really awesome, actually. So just tying it with what you already said a little bit, I wanted to invite you here to, talk a little bit about navigating social media and this world of content creation, because it's grown so much. I think especially ever since the pandemic, it's such a big industry now, right? So the first question I would want to ask you is, how did you come up with the sugar baby character and how you actually began working with social media?
I love this question. I really do. So back in 2020, before the shutdowns happened, before things got a little too crazy, I was 18 years old and I was living by myself in an apartment in Miami, more specifically in Brickell. I was paying my own rent. I was trying to do my own thing. And I had this agreement with my parents that it was as long as I'm fully financially independent, I could live on my own. But if I need their help for anything, I have to come back home, because they didn't want me moving out either. But this was the one thing that I was able to convince them on. I got them to agree on this, because I'm sure how Latino parents are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No matter where they're from, they all think the same.
Yeah.
So now I'm just 18. I'm on my own. I'm working for a real estate construction company as a secretary. That was a horrible gig. It was a horrible job. That guy was such a creep. My boss I was talking about. My boss was such a creep. He would walk into my office and ask me what my breast size was. He would just be the most unprofessional man ever, and also harass me.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So I was kind of in a pickle, and
Yeah.
I kind of wanted an outlet. So I was okay, I kind of wanted to start dating someone. All my friends are still in high school and they're still figuring things out, because I did graduate a year early. And I just needed to get someone that was going to be on my side. And I thought that dating was going to be the best option. Since I'm 18 by myself in Brickell, obviously the dating pool there is significantly older. There are guys that they're 28 to 34. And that's pretty much the demographic of people that are in Brickell. It's young professionals, but not that young. And specifically, I remember that there's this one guy in my DMs who flexed a really lavish lifestyle. And I was here eating microwavable meals. I just
Yeah.
didn't have the money to do that shit, because I had to pay my rent, and then I only had $400 a month to somehow feed myself. And that's kind of what I would do. And this guy kept asking me hey, you want to go here? Hey, you want to go here to eat? You want to go here to eat? And I was girl, I'm hungry. Yes, I want to go out to Triani, and I want to go eat until I can't eat anymore, because I'm sick and tired of microwaving these smart ones. I'm tired of this. So I tell him sure, let's go on a date. This guy was this stone cold Russian guy who lied to me about literally everything. But he was oh, I'm associated with this restaurant people, and that's why my last name is the same as their last name, and I'm rich, and I'm an heir, and all this stuff. And I'm just sitting there trying to finish my food before he can even finish talking, because I'm bored. But anyway, I am a simple girl. I kept dating him because I was like, okay, he's kind of interesting. He's kind of like mean, but like I kind of like that. I kind of like it when they're like not like super friendly. And I did it to myself. I was just like 18 trying to like fulfill my Wattpad fantasy of like getting picked up in a G-Wagon and like living lavishly and whatever and all of this stuff. So I started dating this guy. And I started telling this guy about the fact that I'm getting harassed in the workplace and I don't know what to do because I can't lose my job and no one else will hire me because I'm only 18 and I'm building my resume. No one's going to hire me that like will give me a substantial amount for me to like live off of, kind of. I can't believe I used to live off of $2,200 a month. I cannot believe I used to live off of that amount while paying rent. My rent was $1,500. I cannot believe that I did that.
Yeah, like in Miami, that's doing magic. I mean, props to
I
you.
was just I was just going out to eat every single night with this guy because Evan knows that I could not afford to do it any other way. And I really liked him. So then he basically gave me like a personal assistant job that I could also do on the side where he would give me like another $100 a day, doubling my salary. And I was like, for sure, like I'm dating you already and like I hang out with you all the time. You need someone to keep you organized for sure. So I start working with him. And then after a while, I'm getting sick and tired of how toxic this relationship is because it really was just so toxic. I found out later that he's clearly like a narcissist, and narcissists love the good girls. They love girls that like do what they're told and don't break rules and just are really easy to manipulate, deer in the headlights. So then I start telling him like, this relationship is driving me insane. Like I cannot be with you anymore. You have a hold on my entire life, and like every time I try to do something differently, like you try to punish me financially, whatever. I need to get out of this relationship, but I don't know what came over me. I was like, and I need you to provide a solution for me to get out of this relationship and be financially okay. And because I was like, you did this to me. Like, you did this to me. I need you to fix this. If not, like, you're not even a man. Like, I just like got as toxic as him in that scenario. And I was like, what offends him more? I was like, what, you can't help me figure out another option? What are you, like, not a real man? Like, whatever. Because he would try to hit me with that shit. Like, oh, you burnt the lasagna a little bit. Like, are you even a woman? Like, if you don't know how to cook, like, I just like turned the tables on him. And I was like, you better get me out of this scenario.
Exactly. Like, when a reverse on here.
Yes. And he told me that there was this woman that was needing a place to stay in Miami, and that she couldn't help me pay for my rent, but she could pay for all of my food, my groceries, and like beauty products, like literally anything I wanted to spend money on. She could do that as the arrangement. She just needed a place to sleep. I have a 1-bedroom piece of shit apartment, like in a really old building in Brickell Key that has the view of the parking garage. I was like, if this woman has money to like pay for all of the groceries and all of this, like, why doesn't she just get her own place? And he tells me that the situation is a lot more complicated than I could imagine. And she just needed a place to stay and not to ask too many questions. And she doesn't even speak English. She is Ukrainian, but she tells everyone that she's Russian because she loves to just like add to her lore, like steer people off. And I was like, okay, so she's Ukrainian, but if anyone asks, she's Russian. And she can pay for all of these things for me, but she cannot pay for her own place to stay. And she's cool with sleeping in the bed with me, a total stranger. Because I only had one bed.
Right.
So I'm like, where's she gonna, I guess she's gonna sleep with me. I guess we're gonna literally share everything, bathroom, bed, like everything. And I signed up for it because I just needed to get the hell out of that relationship. And there was no way I was gonna move back home. No, I am crafty. When I want to get something my own way, I would rather share my bed with some random strange woman that doesn't even speak English than have to like move back in with my parents and like have to be home by 9 p.m. Like, it's not happening. So she moves in, and little by little we start kind of talking through Google Translate. I start asking her questions, and I was like, so what brings you here? Like, what's up with this like living arrangement? No one answered any question
At all then? You guys?
Not really, no.
Okay.
No, she like, and if she could, it was like really hard to like understand. And it wasn't until like later on in our like in her like living with me, because she like lived with me for like 4 months or something. And it wasn't until like month 4 that maybe she just started feeling more comfortable speaking English. But like we were able to like have like really simple conversations in English back and forth. So eventually she tells me, originally through like Google Translate and stuff, that She has a sugar daddy that she met on a website, whatsyourprice.com, and they have been seeing each other for like 2 years at this point. He has paid off her apartment in Ukraine. He has like given her like a G-Wagon in Ukraine. Every time she comes to Miami, like she gets to stay at like the nicest hotels, and like he just like takes her out, and she just exists with his credit card, no limit.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in like this type of relationship and whatever. And I was like, okay, no judgment, but why is it you need to stay with me?
Mm-hmm.
She is telling me this visit is different because this visit is permanent. I'm coming to Miami because we're going to start talking about like, will we get married? Will we not get married? Am I going to stay? Am I going to get some papers? Like, what's going to happen? We've already been dating for like 2 years. This guy was significantly older. He's like kind of gross to look at. But she was just like, yeah, it is what it is. Like, he provides this for me, and that's the sacrifice that I just have to make is like, maybe I'm not going to be with the man that I necessarily like want to be with, but I will always be like safe and I'll be okay and I'll be taken care of forever. That was like kind of a tough pill to swallow for me because I'm like a hopeless romantic. I was like,
Oh my God, same. Yeah, I know.
oh, yeah, like,
stunned.
why can't they be hot too? You know what I mean? Like, why can't I like genuinely like them as well? But
Yeah.
I understand that not everyone thinks the same, or not everyone comes from like a circumstance where they feel like they have that option to just like also like pursue love instead of just pursuing money. But she told me that she had to stay with me because it was either stay with me or stay with him, because she told him that she was going to stay with a cousin of hers, and she doesn't have any of her own money, so she can't like check into a hotel, because then he would see that charge on his credit card and then be confused as to why she's staying in a hotel when instead she should be staying with either her cousin or with him. And she was not ready to be with him because she just like didn't want to have like intimate relations yet. Like she just like wasn't ready for that. She was like probably a little grossed out by him too. So I was like, okay, like I'm starting to like see the bigger picture. You're staying with me because you could tell him that we're cousins and like we kind of like looked a little similar. And he won't know. He won't know that like I genuinely do not know you. And you could still charge all the food and all this like beauty products and whatever onto his credit card, and he wouldn't think that that's your way of paying for rent.
Mm-hmm.
So very weird situation that I got myself in. I cannot believe I put myself in that situation, but I did. We had a very interesting kind of a sisterhood for 4 months because, mind you, like she's also like 10 years older than me. Like she's 10 years older than me. She doesn't really speak English. But little by little, as I started to like go back out and like try to go back out on dates and like maybe meet new people, she started weighing in on the people that I was going out with, and she would just like give me like little advices that I thought were so funny. I'd just be like, hey, so I'm gonna call an Uber to this date. I have to call an Uber to this restaurant. Like, do you mind if I put it on your sugar daddy's card? She was like, no, I don't mind. But why he not send you Uber Black? You're going to go on date with men that can't even send you Uber Black? What the hell is that? And I was just like, oh my God, so should I like ask him to like get me an Uber Black? And she was like, ask him, he should have offered. Now you tell him, so you let me know when you send Uber, I'll wait downstairs. And you just say just like that. He won't say no. He'll just be like, oh, I'm supposed to send Uber, and he will send it. I did the exact same thing that I was like, oh, hey, by the way, like, I told you that like, I was in this building, right? Are you gonna send the Uber? Are you gonna like stop by in the Uber to pick me up, or like what? Like what's happening? Lo and behold, 2 minutes later, he sends the Uber. I get in the Uber and I'm taking I spend money on the Uber. I was like, of course I should have said that. Like,
Yeah.
why didn't I like say that? Like, why couldn't I like expect the guy that I was gonna go on a date with to just like at least like get the Uber, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like little nuggets of like info like this or whatever. I would just be like getting dressed or something, and then she would look at my outfit and she'd be like, you look cheap. And I'd be like, what? Like, I thought that this was cute. And she was like, what is that? Fashion Nova? Take that shit off. And then she would like dress me like all like cutesy and like expensive. And then she was like, you have to do like your makeup like a little bit more like this. And then, you know, you always have to have like your manicure and pedicure done, because if not, like you're going to look like a mess, and like men notice these things. And I was like, I don't know if they actually do notice these things, but I'm just going to go ahead and follow her advice. It comes to the 4 month mark. She decides that she's going to marry her sugar daddy, so she moves out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck just happened for like the past 4 months? Like, who was I living with? You know, like this is so, I can't believe that this happened. But then also, I think that she fully changed my perspective on like what dating was like for me in Miami, because I was just like, you're right. Like, if I'm going out on a date with like doctors and lawyers and like all of this stuff, like, why can't they just send the Uber? Like, maybe I don't want them to know where I live, but I would just tell them that I lived in the building like right next door. I'd walk over to the building right next door, and like there was the Uber waiting in the lobby. Like, it was just like small things like that that I was like, I can demand more and like not feel like a bitch. Like, oh, this shit, she just wants me for my money, like whatever. It's like, no, it's etiquette. Like, what
Right.
happened to like the man opening the door and pulling your chair out and then ordering your Uber and like all that stuff? Like, what happened to that? Or has dating become so casual because of like situationships and like hookup culture that men don't feel the need to perform anymore?
Mm-hmm.
So then she puts like something really interesting in my head, where she told me once that she was like, if you act expensive, men will value you. But if you act cheap, they obviously won't. Because how would you treat like a person that's expensive versus cheap? The cheap one, you'll throw it all over the floor. You know that it's there. If it gets lost, you don't really fret that much because you just know that you could like buy another one. When it's expensive, you treat it completely different. So she was like, you have to treat yourself like you're expensive. If not, people are going to just throw you away like you're cheap. So that's like brewing in my mind, right? And I'm just like, God, like, I thought she was a little crazy, but she for sure was onto something for sure. So then everyone locked down because the pandemic started and like, no one had anything else to do.
Right.
And I was dating this new guy at the time that had like a tennis court in his backyard, which I thought was like really funny because it just like looked very like posh, and it looked like, oh, I have a tennis court in my backyard. You know, like it like, it was like a little funny to me. Like, I was like, this is a little funny.
Yeah.
So I don't know what came over me. I just started walking around his backyard, and I threw on her accent exactly. And I was like, my life's so difficult when sugar daddy's at work. He expects me to walk the dogs. And then boom, another joke. It was like, the sign I'm the most compatible with is $. Boom, next joke. And like, I was just like, I basically made a satire off of her advice. Like, because I overplayed it, I exaggerated it, I made it a little bit more. And that video overnight got like 20 plus million views. Within the first month of me making like little videos pretending to be her, I had like 1 million followers. The second month, 2 million. Third month, 3 million. It slowed down a little bit from there, but I'm at like 5 now. But
But still, I mean, that's incredible. You know, it's
yeah, it was explosive. Like, I genuinely could not believe it. And it all happened because like I remembered this weird roommate situation that I was in with this very interesting woman who had a very different perspective than me.
mm-hmm.
And by being able to kind of like regurgitate and just exaggerate some of her advices, it really did reach millions of people in a way that I didn't think it could or it would. And like, she herself is like a very private person for obvious reasons. But I remember like I did run into her one time at Carbone, and she was with her husband. And like I told her, she was like, oh, like, what's good? Like, how have you been? All of this stuff. And I was like, I hope that you know that like what I do now on social media is like based off of you. And she was like, well, I had a feeling, but I'm glad. She was like, I'd love to see it though. Like, I'm happy for you. Like, look at you. And I was like, yeah, you've got your rich husband, and then you've somehow given me a career by pretending to, you know, be looking for one. So it's interesting how things work out to each, like, we each were able to find our own paths, but kind of using the same advice, right?
Oh my God. I mean, I heard you speaking about this in your own podcast with Blair, but I didn't really know how big the whole story was, you know. That's so interesting. Like, that's so wild. And I think that I love one thing that you said. It's like, it reminds like women to like treat yourself as like expensive. Like, you're expensive, you know. You can get better.
Absolutely.
That's the
Absolutely. I mean, because it's obvious, and it's so obvious. Like, the fact that like we neglect to treat ourselves in that way is crazy, because it's just like, if you don't value yourself, how are you supposed to expect someone else to value you? And I know that sounds so cliche. Like, everyone says that, like, you need to respect yourself because if not, no one's going to respect you. But it's true because
It's true. It's true. Because I've been where you were before. I totally get it. I am such a hopeless romantic. And I think that especially with like hookup culture, we've normalized some things that shouldn't be, you know? And
so
yeah,
hookup culture is disgusting. Like let's just leave it at that. Hookup culture, the only person that benefits, in my opinion, from hookup culture is men. I know that this is generalizing and like maybe this is like a little bit sexist to say like women like maybe crave like a little bit deeper of a connection. But like I do think that that's correct. I do think that women in some way or shape or form crave a deeper connection than just hooking up and then leaving. There's a certain aspect to that that's so empty and it kind of feels a little bit degrading. And then at the same time, like no one wants to think that like the person that they're interested in or pursuing or even like allowing them to have access to their body is also hooking up with other people.
mm-hmm.
And the men nowadays are just like so different because of it. Like they're just so different. I mean, what do you mean like what's your Snapchat? And like they'll text you at 3 a.m. to be like, hey, can I come over? Like literally go to hell. Like go to hell. I am not the one. Out. Like if you ask me to chill, I will not be chill and I will just like lose my mind. It's not happening. What happened to like organizing dinner dates and like going on dinner dates and like going for a few drinks afterwards and then getting to know each other and then each going home and then you simmer off, you figure out if you want to go on another date. And then maybe date 2 could be sometime during the day or whatever. I miss that. I've personally been able to, in my own personal relationships, been able to like have that kind of an experience, but that's because like I demand that and I make it very clear that like you're courting me.
Yeah.
I'm very much like a one guy at a time kind of a girl. So it's like, I'll let them know like if I'm interested in you, like you're going to be courting me, buddy. Like we're going to go to dinner and like you're going to make some plans and like all of that stuff because we're not comfortable yet. As soon as we get comfortable, yeah, we could chill at your house. We could watch the movies. We can have all the sleepovers we want, but we are not comfortable and do not get comfortable. I want him to be uncomfortable.
Yes.
I want my best here.
I agree totally. I mean, I think that it's, different for each person, but for me at least, I'm just like you. I need a little bit of a connection and to getting that person a little bit better before anything actually happens. But I think
I don't like people.
Particular, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't like people. Like I don't just like hang out. Like I don't have any guy friends. Like
right,
like I'm not like friendly. I'm not that cool. I put some effort. Like put a button down shirt and put some gel in your hair. Make sure you clean the crud off the bottom of your fingernails, and then come here, pick me up, open up my car door, ask me how my day was, take me to the restaurant, open the door, handle everything with the reception because I am just a girl. And then I want to have a nice adult conversation over dinner because that is what we are. We are adults and we need to be treated as such. And I will not get a text at 3 a.m. Not even what are you doing? They don't even have the time to type that out. They go WY question mark.
No.
Jail.
Block.
Jail.
Bye. No, we're not doing that. No.
I am not the one. I am not the one.
I am not the one.
I am not.
Okay. The next question, sorry. That I think it's really important in this field, in this industry is how do you deal with haters and cancel culture?
I do have my own personal story about like getting canceled and like how that maybe affected me or affected my brand.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to start off by talking about where I'm at now. I really like getting hate comments now. I don't know what it is. It tickles my brain in like a really nice way because I just know that like I woke up in my really nice life where I have like, like comfort and just like I don't have a work schedule and I just like roll out of bed and like I make content, reach a couple 100,000 people, if not a couple million people, and then just like go to dinner with my man. Like that's my day, right? But someone that maybe doesn't have such a nice life or whatever saw my content and it genuinely enraged them that they decided to like give me 5 minutes to like talk about how much like I pissed them off. Like they're thinking about me and like I don't know who they are. Most of my haters are men who think that apparently like don't understand like that this is like a satire. Like this is obviously like an extreme of what we're actually trying to achieve here. And it does make me laugh a little bit. I love pissing men off. Like something about that, like it's very fulfilling.
Yeah, that's the other mathematics that I figured that it was gonna be a yes. I was gonna ask if anyone has actually confused your persona with your like real life.
Yeah, people are dense. Julia, people are dense. Some people don't know what's a joke and what is not. And in my case, the majority of the people that don't understand it's a joke, it's men. And like they would love to say things like I'm everything that's wrong with society, or maybe they'll take it far and say that they hope that I was dead or they hope something horrible happens to me. Maybe like the worst comments that I got were like after my miscarriage, someone told me that they were glad that my baby died. I've even gotten like videos of like people cheering to like the fact that like my baby died. So like obviously like people will say some like really heinous things, but I feel like I've myself exercised a very high level of self-awareness so that no one else can really tell me who I am, because I know exactly who I am. I know what's wrong with me. I know what's not wrong with me. I know what my strengths are. I know what my weaknesses are. I just like don't really see it. Like that doesn't really hurt me at all. It rolls off of me. Now, in the beginning of my career, let's just talk about high school, because I did tell you that I started uploading content when I was a YouTuber at 14. This is like what started. This is like my first ever dose of internet hate, and this really did affect me mentally because I was 14. Okay, like I could not understand why so many people were being mean to me. My first video on my YouTube channel, I went to go see like a meet and greet of these YouTubers, the Dolan twins, and I met them. And I met them with a friend of mine, but I did not know who they were. I just went to their meet and greet because my friend needed someone to go with her. So I go and I'm telling her like, hey, like I think I might just like start my YouTube channel off of like talking about this meet and greet because they're on YouTube, like it's relevant, like why not? I was like, let me spice things up because I've always been someone that like likes to start like a little controversy, like a little drama. I was like, let me give him my phone number and like have the guy like take pictures of it the whole time so we can get their reactions, and then I'll make a YouTube video about that. I gave him my phone number. We took the pictures. I forgot to hug one of them on the way out because I was like so excited to look at the pictures and like plot like my video. Mm-hmm. That when I eventually filmed and uploaded the video, that video got 600,000 views on YouTube, which is a lot for YouTube, especially for your first video. This was my first video on the platform. All of the comments were so negative because they could tell like I obviously like wasn't like a real fan, but nonetheless like I was still talking about like my experience meeting them. But their fan base at the time was so crazy and so toxic that I think I got like on the worst day, I think I got like 3,000 hate comments, which is crazy. I think that there's like over like 10,000 comments on that video, and like in one particular day, 3,000 of the comments that were received were just like trashing my physical appearance. They were just like, oh, she's so ugly. Like, I can't believe she looks like that. Like, she looks hideous. And at 14 years old, what people tell you, it hurts way more because you're not confident in your self-image yet. You're still figuring out who you are. So when you don't know who you are and other people try to tell you horrible things about you, you might start to believe them. And that was something that did happen. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, go ahead. I was just saying absolutely. Like that's, if I was 14, I would have crumbled. That's brutal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, imagine like the high school bullies, but they're all anonymous and they can message you at any time of the day, and they do. And they just like say the most heinous things because there's no consequences for them. There's absolutely no consequences. So it did affect me, and I just started pushing through and just like continued making my videos. But every time I try to do something, the hate comments would keep coming back. And I just remember like sitting in my class, like my homeroom class, when I was like a freshman in high school. And you know how your heart feels when you go through a breakup? That's like, it's like really heavy, and you're so aware of like your heart just like throbbing, and there's like a bit of anxiety, like that same feeling. I felt that feeling for months because every single time I turned on my phone after class, I would just get like a barrage of comments like telling me to off myself, telling me to do all of these horrible things. So I feel like that was really hard, but I am very grateful that that was able to happen before TikTok happened, because by the time that, I got over YouTube and I got over like people leaving hate comments all the time, whatever, by the time I started TikTok, I feel like I was so mentally prepared for everyone to say some heinous things about me And I was like, okay, they've done it once before. Nothing happened. It's not the end of the world. Like, it's fine. Not everyone has to like you because not everyone has expensive taste, hair flip. But when TikTok happened, the hate comments weren't really there. It was like mostly like girls like cheering me on, and like yes, there'd be like the occasional guy telling me that I was horrible and like he hates my content and like he hopes that I die or like whatever. I feel like at that point I recognize that like people that leave hate comments, they have so much time on their hands. They have so much time. Have you ever thought, like, I feel like you, a normal person, have you ever like looked at someone's picture and like just felt like being like, you fat ugly pig, LOL?
Never. That's what I always think. I'm like, how do you have the time and the need to actually post that on someone's picture? You know, why? Why would you do that? You know?
It's insane. Yeah, it's right. It's nasty. Not only is it nasty, but I was reading a study. Don't quote me on this though, but I was reading a study. It said that there was like a link between psychopathy and people that like serially leave hate comments. And I kind of see that because like, yes, we might think like maybe nasty thoughts about other people. We cannot control about some things that maybe we think. Maybe someone pissed us off and like maybe someone pissed you off in real life, but you still follow them on Instagram because like you want to be polite, and like every time you see their picture, you're just like, oh, like
Yeah.
but how like what is she like? She's so mean. Like, oh, like look at her just like pose up with her friends, and you know that she talks shit about every single one of them. I'm not gonna go ahead and comment that because it just like it's beneath you. It's just beneath you to like give extra attention to that. We cannot control the way that we feel in that regard, but we can control our actions, and we should just be not necessarily the bigger person, but the busier one, because busy people don't have time to leave little hate comments like, oh, I hate your shoes, your toes look weird. Like, who has the time? Not me. I am too busy making money. That is what's happening.
No, but it's true. I mean, if you feel the need to actually comment so much hate, like spreading hate to somebody else, I couldn't imagine that, you know. But first of all, I'm so sorry that you had to go through all these comments. And
Don't apologize. Honestly, it's all a part of the process. It's all a part of just like our experience as humans. If you're doing something like really awesome and like really cool and like people see that, people are gonna hate. It's like a natural reaction to be jealous or envious of certain people like living the lifestyle that maybe you want for yourself. Smart people will look at other people doing better than them and see them as inspiration. Stupid people will see those same people doing better than them and feel nothing but rage and jealousy and put themselves in some type of a victim mindset of like, well, look, like influencers, they look at the way that they live. Like, meanwhile, this is what's happening to me. I'm like, I've been on both ends of the spectrum. Like, I've been not being able to pay my rent, and then I've also just been successful and been financially stable and comfortable. Like, I've seen both ends of it. The only thing that stopped me from achieving the latter was literally me just like believing in myself and putting myself out there. Because if you never put yourself out there, you will never succeed because you miss 100% of the chances that you don't take. So if I never would have started uploading myself because I let the initial hate comments from when I was 14 years old affect my relationship with social media in that way, like, oh, I should not post on TikTok because when I was 14 years old, they told me that I was ugly and that my voice is annoying and all of this stuff, then my life would have been completely different. I would have still probably been trying to figure things out because I've just turned 23, and like a lot of people my age are still trying to figure things out. They're fresh out of college. Just you can't let those comments dictate how you think of yourself, even if they do strike a chord, even if like they are targeting your insecurities. Even if you have those insecurities, you need to come to terms with them yourself and acknowledge that those are insecurities that you have and that they're there. And if you can't make an active attempt to maybe address those insecurities, like for example, my nose was a big one. So like I just got my nose done. I was like not having it. I was like, instead of like trying to accept something that like, instead of trying to accept something that like I just didn't like, I was like, I'm just going to change it and move on. Like life is too short. It's not a big deal. Yada, 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 whatever. What are people going to tell me in my comment section? That I'm fake because I have plastic surgery, or that I'm a gold digger because I make gold digger jokes? Womp womp. Like, okay. Like, tell me something I don't know. Really, tell me something I don't know. We are our own worst critics, and I feel like I've gotten really comfortable with like both of my voices. my positive one and my really negative one. Not that like I hear voices sometimes. Not that I hear voices or anything, but I just like I've really made peace with my thought process, and like maybe like there's days that I'm not the nicest to myself, and there's days that I'm like extremely kind to myself, and I'm like a self-confidence queen, and I'm just like, oh, slay, the world is your runway, queen. Her, yeah, you just that has to be on your own terms. I feel like living for other people is like bullshit. Like I'm not going to limit. Like if I want to do something that day, I'm gonna do it regardless of like what the comments are that I'm gonna receive. I'm gonna live my life for myself and not in fear of retaliation from my audience, of them being like, oh, she's fake, or oh, she's so unrelatable now. It's not a sustainable way of living.
No, I agree absolutely. I think that it's just important to like push through, even though we get the hate comments and everything. I think I got my first hate comment like a week ago. And
Congratulations. It's a good thing. You landed on someone's feed. You landed on someone's feed. And they left a comment. So you obviously stimulated their brain a little bit.
Algorithm. But the thing is that we gotta understand that it's much more about them than us, you know. And I know it's hard. It's hard to read that, because when I read it, I was like, oh my God, this person doesn't even know me. And that's the thing. They don't know you. They're assuming a lot of things about you and putting it out there. And they don't even know who you are, like who you actually, what your values are and everything. So I think it's just important to like push through, even though people are saying, because people are going to have something to say every time, right?
Yes.
You're always going to have something to say, something to hate about. So even if you're trying to be the best person in the world and not offend anyone or whatever, you're always going to offend somebody. Somebody's always going to have something to say about it. So,
oh, absolutely. I mean, have you ever seen anyone that's successful and content with their own lives just like leave hate comments randomly on random people's pages?
no.
No, only people that are miserable do that. So, and they don't really seem to be a good judge of character anyway. Like, may I ask what this hate comment said?
Just don't remember, honestly. I think I was talking about like loneliness in adulthood, and just how the dating pool is really hard, and how, you know, after you graduate college, you obviously see a lot less people. You don't have like that group that you see every day. And especially me, because I was living by myself. So I was, you know, I would wake up and work from home, and I would just feel really lonely. So I posted about that. And this guy commented, he said, oh, the most narcissistic of them all, the American woman, blah, blah, blah. And he was just, yeah, talking about it. And I was like, dude, first of all, it's not about narcissism. It's just about feeling lonely. And I'm not even American. You know, all these assumptions that he made about me that were not true.
It's apparently, I guess it's narcissistic to crave real connection. Holy crap.
What are you talking about? What is this about anyway?
Oh my God, that's crazy. Obviously that was bullshit. I mean, speaking about loneliness in adulthood, absolutely. It's true. I mean, we go from environments where we were in school 24/7, surrounded by people our age, peers, like 20 plus kids our age constantly. We're just constantly surrounded by so many people that could be friends, could be enemies, whatever, but they were part of like a social group. Like there were people that you could socialize with and have some type of daily interaction.
Exactly.
As an adult, and especially since after the pandemic, I mean, I think the pandemic like changed so much as well. Like just like changed so much about like how we handle relationships. Like a lot of people work from home, as you were saying, but there are some days that like I don't see anyone. I mean, there's some weeks, like I'm talking about weeks, like 2-3 weeks. I've gone 2 to 3 weeks at a time without seeing anyone that doesn't live in my house. Like, like I haven't seen anyone that I don't like. If I live with you, I'll see you. Like I'll see like my boyfriend or like whatever, but like I won't see anyone else because I just like will not leave my house. And that could have such a negative effect on like people's like mental health and stuff like that if you don't like find other ways to stay stimulated. But humans, we're social animals, you know, we're social, like we crave that kind of connection. And relationships now are so tainted in like a way that people are just like trying to like maneuver like this online world and like flex things that like aren't theirs and just come across as someone else that they're not. So right off the bat, like I don't want to say that we're doomed, because we're not doomed, but I am greatly concerned for this newer generation of people. I'm like, I have I've noticed a shift. So let's just say like I were to go out to a bar with my friends. A lot of my friends are single, so like we'll just like be hanging out at the bar or whatever. I'm not single, but a lot of my friends are single, and the guys our age will not come up to us. They will look at us the whole time. They will stare us down from across the bar. They will constantly be staring. And even if like my friend like winks at them or like goes like this, like whatever, they will not come over.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's my experience. They will not talk to you. They won't come over.
They don't know how to talk to you. They do not know how to talk to you anymore. That is not something that they know. Meanwhile, I mean, why is it so shocking that women like older men anyway? Like, meanwhile, like a guy that's like 30 something years old or 35 or whatever, like at that same bar, like will probably come up to you. He'll come up to you and be like, hey, can I get you a drink? Because they still know how to socialize. They remember life before social media.
Yes.
So it's like, why do you think like we are making like a transition to like maybe liking like the older and mature guy who's not afraid to walk up to a pretty girl at a bar, and because they just like know how to socialize and know how to be normal. And I know that it goes both ways. Like maybe we don't know how to socialize. Maybe like also like people get scared about like just going up to a stranger and just being like, hey, like I find you attractive. Like, what's your name?
Yes.
But if you don't put yourself out there, like I said, even with social media, if you don't put yourself out there, you're not going to find that connection that you so seek. And I hate that women have to be like the people that start the conversation first, but I just know that men need to check their shit. They really do. Holy crap. They need to get their Riz game up. Like, I don't want someone sliding up on my story. That's disgusting. I want someone coming up to me in public and telling me how my eyes matched the ocean in their dream last night. Like, holy crap.
Well, that's what I want. That's what I need.
What are proactive steps that the man of today can take to go up to you in a bar? What do you want a man to say to you? Do you want a man to come up to you in person? Is that how you would like prefer to like meet someone? Or like, are you on any dating apps right now? Like, what are you single? Wait, first of all, are you single?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Are you on dating apps?
I am, but I'm not a big fan. I just like real life meeting, real life interactions. I don't think I've ever been on actual like dating app dates.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dating apps are a whole different ballgame. It's just like it feels like a meat market. Like,
yes, that's why I'm kind of, it's not my thing. A lot of friends met their boyfriends through Bumble or Tinder, and they're really happy, but I don't know. I don't see myself doing that.
I'm dating a boy that I met in real life at a party in Colombia. But when we first started dating, I mean, because I'm crazy. I moved in with him after like 3 days of knowing him. But because we didn't live in the same city, so I was just like, I'll come visit. And then I come visit turned into like, can you move your shit over to the side so I can have some space in the closet? Thanks. Just kind of, I looked at it, it's mine. But I took a look at, like, I wanted him to show me, like, his Hinge profile, because I also had a Hinge profile, like, within the first week of us, like, dating, because, like, it wasn't, like, exclusive, like, I wasn't going to make him, like, delete anything, but, like, we weren't swiping, and we made it very clear that we're not swiping. The profile is there, but, like, we should probably delete it soon, because, like, we're not interested in, like, dating other people. But I told him before he deleted it, for my own curiosity, I wanted to look at his profile and I wanted to think about whether or not we would have matched on a dating app, because my boyfriend is social media illiterate. He does not know how to take a picture. He is super smart, but like, with the bullshit prompts that like Hinge gives you or whatever, like how are you supposed to get to know someone properly through there? I took a look at his profile and it was horrendous. It was like the worst profile I've ever seen in my life. And most of the pictures were like blurry or like pixelated, or like he was wearing a hat where you couldn't see his face. And I was just like, babe, like, I'm going to be so honest with you right now. We would have never matched on Hinge, which is crazy because now we've been together for years and like he's like my favorite person ever. And like we have like a great connection. But that's because we met in person in the wild. We had to go up to each other and like seal the deal.
Yeah. And I think it's different nowadays. So that's what I'm saying. I think that there's a lot of things that get lost, in social media. Not social media, but like dating apps, internet, because you're only seeing a part of that person. You're not really interacting with them. But that's a whole different story. I could go on a tangent about this forever.
Things that are on social media do not translate to real life. Like I would not go up to a guy and be like, what's your astrology sign? Because the only astrology sign I'm compatible with is $. I'll still find a way to say that. But I'll definitely be way more subtle, you know? There's a way to have a conversation. There's a way to be manipulative in a positive way.
Yes, yes. And I wanted to ask you this, which kind of ties in to like this internet world, is how is it making friends in this industry? Like, have you found the support of other women important? How is it, how did you make any good friends?
I will say that in the beginning of my career, I got kind of like turned off to like making girly pop friends or whatever. I think for like the first full year and a half of my career, I was like lonely. I didn't even have a best friend. I just like would talk to the person that I was like dating at the time. And that's because like the first person that I let in that was in the industry held a whole campaign to cancel me. And it was kind of insane. I like was super nice to her. Her account got deleted. So then I started like hosting like collabs because a lot of people wanted to collab with me when I was in LA because it was during the time that I was blowing up. And I was doing like a lot of collabs and I would bring her along and like force people to tag her, even though she didn't have any followers. I did not have to do this for like a girl that I did not know. Like I really did not have to be such a people pleaser, but like I used to be such a big doormat. I was a people pleaser. And this girl, eventually, I stopped talking to her like less and less because it was always like her like asking me for favors. And then I would just like never really ask her for anything in return because I didn't really need anything from her. And then she just released a video talking about how I based my whole personality off of her and that I stole all of her jokes and kind of like crazy things like that. That was never the case, not at all. I had screenshots of her like me like being like, oh, like I'm gonna post this video, and her being like, oh my god, that's so funny, like go you. And then she'll use that same video as like you see, she needed like approval from me to like post things, and I was like, no, I just thought we were friends, like I'm just showing you what I'm posting, like lol, like it's funny, right? It was so superficial and so stupid, but it really did cause like hundreds of thousands of people to like start leaving hate comments on my TikTok page that even got it like temporarily deleted for like a little bit as well. Crazy. That scarred me. So I was really like turned off by like making female friends until I saw that Blair Walnuts, my best friend, moved to Miami. And when she moved to Miami, I was just like, I don't know, like our content was like kind of similar and our following kind of wanted us to like start beef with each other because like we had made the same jokes or whatever. But I just like, I saw through that and I was like, maybe we just have like a similar sense of humor. Maybe that's just what it is. Like, if no one's copying anyone, maybe it's just like we're more alike than we think. So I sent her a message. We went out to dinner, and I think that same night we were like best friends, and we've been best friends for like 2 years plus. Talk to each other every single day, even if I don't talk to my mom every single day. I will talk to Blair every single day. So there are really good people you could find through social media. Absolutely. Maybe I wouldn't be like the best person to speak on it because like I don't have like a huge group of friends, and like I'm not out here like going to a million events because like I'm a little bit more closed off. And I do understand that closing myself off has like definitely like limited my career in certain ways, but I have a threshold and I really do believe in protecting my peace. And if protecting my peace means that I stay in my house and I only leave when someone worthwhile is waiting for me and like I'm gonna have a good time, like I don't have to like lose brain cells or be fake, I rather that than like have to put on this stupid mask and stupid facade and go into PR mode and just being like, hey girly, how are you? Oh my god, yes, I love your Botox. So slay. But I just like I'm not interested anymore. I'm just trying to focus on what I gotta do, make my money, focus on my stuff because social media is also kind of fleeting. Like if you're not consistent, if you're not constantly posting and interacting with your audience, then they can forget about you. And they definitely can do it very quickly, much faster than anyone can expect. And it can happen to anyone. So it's very possible to make friends, very possible to make good friends. I've met amazing people along the way, awesome individuals that like I am definitely grateful to have met. But I'm currently in like the phase of my life where I'm like protecting my peace and making it really hard for people to say that they know me because I'm just focused on my grind. I'm staying home and I'm taking care of the person that should be my priority, which is me and my relationships with my family, my boyfriend, and my close friends.
Which I think is what really matters. And I totally get what you said about not wanting to go out and having to put that PR mode on because it's really exhausting.
It is.
Yeah, hiring it really drains you when you have to do that.
Yeah, I'm at the point in my life where like I don't really need anything from anyone. I don't have to prove myself. I feel like I've already done it. I know that I can do it. And I just, just doing my own thing. I'm thriving, I'm comfortable, and I'm clocking in. And more importantly, I'm clocking out. Because the thing with like having a lot of like social media friendships and like having to like meet up with them and all of that stuff, it just feels like you're constantly working, which is like really sad because you could just be like at dinner and like talking about something personal, and then someone will whip out their camera and be like, let's make a TikTok. So it's just kind of like, girl, I've clocked out. Like I wrote my last joke like 4 hours ago. Like we're done. So protect your peace. Protect your peace. 2024, 2025.
I think we kind of brushed past this. Like we talked about this throughout the podcast, but like one tip that you would give someone who's just started creating content, is there like one thing that you think everybody should know?
Yes, if you are starting content, you need to be different. You need to be different. Oh my God. Okay, and I will explain what I mean by different. So obviously we see like certain trends and like it's just like a girl like staring blankly and like there's text over the screen. Maybe that post said something relatable or said something funny and like people are liking and people are like interacting with it in that moment, but people aren't remembering your face and people are not remembering your voice and people don't know your name. When you make content and you want to make, because obviously the most important thing that you could do as an influencer, as a content creator, is build a loyal fan base. Build a loyal fan base that'll buy your merch, that'll support you on all your videos and comment, will remember some of the inside jokes and form a community. Like, you need to make your own very different, distinct community. I could say that I have a pretty loyal following. They're freaking awesome and like they know my lore and they know that like all of this is like a joke and like it's not serious and like why I do what I do. And it just like it's comfortable. It like feels like you're just like reporting into like a family of people that like get you. They know who you are, like they know your friendships and all of that stuff, and like they're very keen on what's happening in your life. There's an aspect of like privacy that is lost, but if you want to get into content creation, you have to build that loyal fan base, and you have to do that by making yourself different and talking and interacting with the camera. Like you need to make content as yourself, looking into that camera and saying whatever it is that you need to say, but you need to be different. You have to have your own spin on things. For me, I'm like a gold digger and everything is like money related and I'm talking about relationships all the time. And I have a catchphrase. I say, go find rich husband at the end of every single video, and people are expecting that, and they know that even if like maybe I changed my hair, or let's just say I got into an accident and my face was disfigured, they would know it's me because they recognize my voice and they can remember that I'm the girl who said, go find rich husband. I'm doing certain things that are helping isolate me from other content creators that are maybe making similar content. I'm branding myself appropriately. It's never too early to brand yourself. Ever since the jump, like I understood like the importance of having like a catchphrase or something that like people could really like hop in on, because the audience loves to feel included. They love to feel like, oh, this is like a huge inside joke that we're like all a part of. So like even if it's just like you have like this like intro that like your loyal followers memorize and like they like it and it's like a fun little jingle, you have to keep it very interactive with your audience. Listen to what they're saying to you, because ultimately they're the judge, the jury, the full court. That's who they are to you as an influencer. They are your boss. They are actually your boss. So make sure that you're very interactive with them. Treat them well, and they will treat you well in return. And be different. And I always recommend like, don't be afraid to have like a really big out there personality, even if like maybe you think it's annoying. Because trust me, I can't even listen to my own voice sometimes when I edit my videos. I'm just like, what is she saying? Like, what is that voice? Why did my voice just crack there? Whatever. And like the video will do well. Everyone will eat it up. So don't be that hard on yourself either. I know that there's like a lot of people that I've wanted to be a content creator. Like I have people that I know personally that I feel like would do so well as a content creator, but every single time I take a video of them or take a photo of them, they're just like, oh, I look so fat from that angle. you're limiting yourself. I will film myself once, and like if I just felt like the joke came across good enough, I don't care how I looked, I'm gonna post it, because you can't think about it too much either.
Yeah.
Be proud about what you put out there, put in effort, make something great, make something that you're proud of, but also don't be so hypercritical on like little details like how you look, or if your double chin was showing because the camera was too low. If not, then you will never make anything worthwhile, because you'll be so focused on little details that only you notice. That is my advice.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And I found the hard way that being authentic is what really drives people to remember you and what's really important in social media. Because,
People love relatability. They love it.
yeah, and
Seeing themselves in you.
exactly. And when I think that like they feel closer to you when you're very yourself, you know, authentic and different, they connect to you better. It's just
Absolutely.
absolutely.
I mean, this is all about connection at the end of the day, so.
It is. It is what we're talking about earlier. So that's amazing advice, really.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next question. Can you tell us like a very weird or funny story that happened to you with content creation?
Yes. I have a few. Let me say. Definitely have a few. I remember seeing this in like the like questionnaire that you sent over before, and I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna even talk about? Because like there's a lot of weird shit that happens to me all the fucking time.
It's just like picking one that maybe you haven't told yet or something like that.
I have. Okay, so there are two different types of people that follow me. There's obviously the girls that get it and like they think it's funny and they follow me and whatever. And then there's another class of men that follow me because they like my degradation jokes, like the jokes that I'm just saying, like I'm kind of like making fun of like things that men do, because they're like attracted to that. They're into financial domination. They're into like a dominatrix kind of a personality of women. There was this one time when I was single that I was sitting with like one of my best friends, and we were just like at the beach. And she was like, we were just talking about how we really wanted to go eat at Nabokov. We really wanted to go have like brunch at Nabokov that day. But yeah, it's like, oh, it's just so expensive. And like, I know it's like, we're just going to spend so much money on drinks, and like we're going to spend like $650 us each, not each, $650, $700 each, just like I'll cook or whatever. And then I rolled over and I was like, what if like for a joke, just see what would happen, I post on my story that I want to go for brunch and we'll see who could pay for it. Or let's see who sends me the most money or whatever. I posted something on my story saying like, where all the pay pigs at? And I got like 4 message requests from guys being like, I want to send you money, but I want you to insult me. So I'm just sitting there with my best friend and I was just like, okay, like I was going to invite us to like go to brunch anyway, because like no one's going to tell me what to do. Like I'm just going to do what I want to do. But let's just see how much money we can make in like the next 2 hours from like answering. Oh my God. Sorry, my dog.
He's like there.
He's been right here this whole time.
Oh my God.
This is Napoleon.
Oh, he's so cute. Oh.
He looks a little crusty because he's been in the pool all day, but yeah, so I'm just sitting there with my friend and she's like, okay. And I was like, well, here's my iPad. I have my Instagram logged into my iPad, and we split up and we just start messaging them. So I'm messaging them on Instagram and I was like, well, okay, so what, you want like financial domination? They're like, I want you to insult me and tell me that I'm like the worst thing ever and I'll keep sending you money. Easy enough. I'd be like, you're a loser and you're such a geek. Like, I would never talk to you unless you were offering to give me money. It's so sad that you have to offer someone to give you money to even like acknowledge who you are. What a loser. Send me money. Send me money. And she'd be doing the same thing. She's like, what are you saying? I was like, no, just, I don't know, a loser, geek. Like, I don't know. They like that. So then she's commenting the same thing. And then she was like, you just got an offer. Someone is gonna buy your feet pictures. And I was like, girl, you better take a picture of my feet right now. So then I whip my feet out, and then she's like taking pictures of my feet from all angles. And we were having so much fun with it because like it wasn't like anything dirty, you know. They just wanted someone to like make fun of them. And then one guy wanted a picture of like my feet. At the end of like an hour and a half, I think we made something like $1,500.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah, just from like insulting guys like on my Instagram DMs or whatever. So we made $1,500 and then I gave her half. I kept half because like, we both put in the work. And then just like spent it that day and it was like fun. We just like went to we had food at Novikov and then like we went out for like a little sweet treat at like another restaurant. We had even more cocktails and then we took like an Uber Black back home and like spent no money because we were just insulting guys on my social media all day.
That's the best way to make money. I love that for you.
Yeah. So if the economy gets any worse and you see me offering to insult people online for money, mind your own business. Just all I gotta do what I gotta do. You gotta pay your bills.
It is.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Because he was at the majority of the guys that were sending, like the guy that sent the most money, I think like he sent like $750 in that hour or something. He was like a guy that was in Japan working for like the army or the Marines. I can't remember, but he was like he was not deployed, but he was stationed in Japan working in the US military, whatever. He was like a military guy and like he was just like into that weird stuff. And then coincidentally, there was another guy that we were also talking to that was in the Air Force. So what's up with men in the line of duty that just like to take orders from like a girl? They just like love it. They love getting insulted. Maybe that's why they're in the military.
I have no idea. That's the question. I'm gonna ask that question on my stories. Like, what is it?
Yeah, I noticed that like the majority of the guys sending money, they were like in that line of wars. So it was very interesting. They were like young too. They weren't like old or weird. They were like, one of them was actually like kind of attractive, and I was like, what is with him?
Girl, I don't know. That's a great question. That's like a trend that I didn't know happened.
There's something wrong. There is something wrong.
Absolutely.
Everything just ties back to there is something wrong with men today. I don't know what it is, but there's something wrong.
Oh my God. And we're having to deal with all these men today. So
wait, you have to find out. It's
hard out there. It's tough.
Like, what do you expect in a relationship? What is it that like what's your bare minimum for someone to like get into like a relationship? What's your bare minimum and then what's your ideal?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a great question. I feel like I'm the one being interviewed right now. I don't know.
You gotta have your own stances. This is your platform.
Honestly, I think the bare minimum for me, it's like respect. It's the first one. Like treating me with respect, bare minimum. I think having like the same values and ambitions is just like standard for me, because if we don't have like the same, both of them, I think I would say ambition is more, but values as well, we're gonna clash. Like something's not gonna work.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can't be like the only one that's like, I gotta get up and go to work. I gotta get this bread. Like, no, what is he gonna do? Just like be like, baby, I'm gonna go sleep all day and like not do anything. That's not attractive at all whatsoever. Ew, gross, tomato, boo, boo.
And I feel like you guys have to be like really aligned in what you want from life, your ambitions and everything. And I think last is just, I gotta be attracted to them. I know that some people are like, oh, blah, 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 like he doesn't have to be cute, but like to me, he has to be. I'm sorry.
I get that. You have to be like attracted to them in like a certain way. For me, I don't necessarily need them to be like conventionally attractive. Like, I definitely don't think I like really even like them like conventionally attractive. Like, I don't want like
disease. Like, I have to get attracted to them,
Yeah, it has to be like, cause like I like nerds. I really do. I like geeks. I like the little guys with the glasses that are like really smart and like probably autistic. Like that is my type. Like
they're my weakness.
That is my weakness. Oh my God.
Definitely. Like I have seen a trend in guys that I've dated like throughout the years, and they were always kind of nerdy, geeky, like very shy. Kind of like the opposite of me in a way, because I've always been very extroverted and like to make friends, whatever, like very outgoing. So I used to love a shy guy. They were my kryptonite.
The balance. Everything is a balance.
Yeah.
Everything is a balance.
Oh, and the humor. I think it has to be there also. Like we have to have the same sense of humor.
what is your like ideal? Like what is like oh my God, like what is like your dream man? Like give it to me in bullet points. Like give me a few bullet points of what your dream man is.
Actually, you're making me think about this because I don't think I've thought about this before. Like,
Okay, well, I have a little exercise for you that I like to give to any single person that I know or any single people that I come across that ask me like, what do I got to do to attract the man of my dreams? I need you to write down in your notes or somewhere bullet points of the exact man that you want. If you don't believe in manifestation, you cannot spell manifestation without man, okay? You write down in bullet points the exact person that you want. I want him to be respectful to his mother. I want him to tip the wait staff well. I need small little details. I want his fingernails to be clean. I want him to always have cut toenails. I want this, I want that. I need you to put this down on a list. Put it down on an exact list. And I need you to revisit this list every single time that you're somehow or somewhat intrigued by a man, or like you find someone attractive, or like you're getting to know someone. You need to be like, does this person fit in my ideals? Because what we're not going to do is settle. The last thing that you want to do is like be in like a long-term relationship, or God forbid, even married to someone that didn't meet your minimum requirements, like didn't meet your cleanliness bare minimum, or they had way too many girlfriends. Like you don't like it when they have like 10 girlfriends that they're always hanging out with by themselves. Like you need to have all of this stuff written down to keep you focused. But not only that, manifestation was such a big part of my dating life and my career and all of this stuff. Putting yourself in the mindset that you're just like, it's a matter of time, like I'm gonna get all the things that I need, and this is gonna happen, and I'm a star, and like all of this will happen for me. I just got to clock in and I got to put in the work, and I can't forget. And every single time that you get dismayed and like you don't know what you're going to do, you have to go back into the headspace. It's like success will come to me. I just need to keep clocking in, and I still got to keep putting in that work, because it's 10 years of hard work for an overnight success. All that people will see is the overnight success. What they don't see is all of the work that you put in behind the scenes. The same thing happens to your dating life. As you get to know guys and you get to know what makes them tick or what gives them the ick, you need to stay focused and be like, this is exactly the man that I want for myself. And if he deviates from this in a point that like I can't look past, like if he's just like the absolute opposite, I cannot go for this person, because at the end of the day, what I'm doing is I'm settling. I'm just being like, okay, he's okay for now. Instead of like, this is not the man that I envisioned for myself. The man that I envisioned myself does this, and that at the bare minimum. And I want you to put it in order of importance. I want him to be driven, successful. I want him to have a big nose. Personally, me, I want him to have a big old nose. Love that. I want him to have good teeth, like a good smile, a big warm smile. I want him to have a good relationship with his family. Put it in order and make sure that you look at it frequently so you don't forget what the standards you set for yourself were. That's what you should.
it's like really important. My mom told me the same thing, you know, like I saw her talking to me, like when you were talking, you were saying like the exact same thing that she told me. She's like, you gotta be specific in what you want, write it down, and follow that whole thing along, because you know what you want. It's just so important for everything in your life. Like knowing what you want is the first step to actually getting what you want.
Yeah, I mean, the next time someone asks you, what is it that you look for a man, give me the list of things that you want. Give me your ideal. You should know that, like, boom, boom, boom. I want it to be this. I want it to be that, whatever. I know on my list, the word rich is in there, and it's pretty high up there. But, what do you want, puppy? And, yeah, we just gotta stay focused. You gotta have things written down.
Yes.
If not you, then who?
Yes.
I am not an organized person too, so me telling you to write something down is crazy, because I shall write anything down. Not even my jokes. Sometimes I'll just like beatbox it into like my voice memos and be like, I hope I remember to check that in like a month from now. But there's one thing that I don't play,
and I'm like, I have to be more organized. I have to start. It's okay. We're getting there. But next time you ask me that question, I'm gonna know.
Good.
I'm gonna have an answer. I promise.
Good. As you should. As you should.
Okay, happy to hear. Yes. And that's really good advice, actually. You know, ladies, know what you want in a man and don't settle.
Know what you want, write that shit down, and never forget, don't settle. Do not settle. Do not settle.
even if it's like, oh, but I don't want anything serious with him. We're just having fun, blah, blah, blah. But is he a piece of trash? Then bye. No.
I just like don't think that women should like even sleep with men that they don't like see themselves marrying. And that might be like a hot take. That's like, oh, wow. I would never like sleep with someone that like I didn't think that like I could get into some type of like long-term relationship with. I'm not going to give anyone the privilege of saying that they've ever been with me or whatever if they're not, you know, up there on like what my ideal man could be. If they eventually show their true colors and I'm not into them, whatever, how was I supposed to know that? Like, you don't even know who people are until like maybe even like a year or two of dating them. But be picky. And you have the power. As a woman, you have all of the power in the world to be like, this is what's good for me and this is what's not good for me. And do not let someone that's mediocre or someone that's like okay for now or like maybe is like just like fine because like I'm a little lonely and like I just need someone to listen to me and like he's giving me attention now. Do not let that person hit. Like really, like do not let that person hit. Do not entertain that person any further because all you're doing is settling and you're treating yourself cheaply. You are expensive and you deserve to have your minimum requirements met every single step of the way.
Yes. Preach.
Absolutely.
Worry it. Bye.
Go find a rich husband, baby.
Period. Go find a rich husband. Okay. Last question, and then we're gonna have like a lightning round. Okay. This is just a funny one, just for funsies. So, if you could swap places with an influencer for a day, who would it be and why?
Oh my God, Alex Earl. Hello.
Oh my God, yes.
Of course I'd want to switch with Alex Earl. That girl is like a powerhouse. Like that girl will make a podcast episode, a YouTube video, and like 3 TikToks like every single day. She has probably the best team working for her. And like she's so driven and she knows what she wants. And she is beautiful and she's killing it. And as she should, period. Love to see girls win. And probably her. I think I'd love to like just like, you know, live a day in her like life and like party. Or like I would just like I think I would just like really love to party with Alex Earl because like I hardly leave my house, but when I do, like I'm feral. And I feel like, you know, it would be pretty on par.
Oh my God, it would be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. It would be awesome. Yes. I mean, you said I would say probably the same thing. So
she's killing it. Good for her. Like, and she seems so fun. She's so pretty. Like,
look where you go. So are you.
Oh, thank you. I know.
Okay. The last round, then we're almost done. Okay. So I'm gonna say a prompt, like a situation or prompt, and then you answer in one word. Okay. Okay. One word that describes you.
Fabulous.
Yes. Preach. Favorite city?
I don't have just one. It's like Miami and San Juan because I live in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and like Miami is my home. So those two because they're my home.
Honestly, yes. I love Miami. I've lived there for like 6 years. And San Juan is just beautiful. I've been there twice and it's amazing.
I think Miami's the best city in the world. But like now that I live in San Juan, I'm going to say San Juan. Because I do love living here in Puerto Rico. I do.
Yes, amazing. Favorite food?
Sushi.
Mine.
Or maybe just soup. I don't know. I just like all soup.
Really?
Hot girls like love soups. Yes. Soup. Soup or sushi soup. I don't know.
Yeah. No, sushi is amazing. I love sushi.
Definitely.
Childhood crush?
Hannah Montana.
Oh my God, yes.
I had such a big girl crush on her. I'd just be like,
really?
Everything she did, I was like, oh my God, queen. Like, there's no one that I want to be like, or no one that I want to be around but Hannah Montana. Like, I didn't even think about any of like the men on Disney Channel. Like, I just have dreams about like holding hands with Hannah Montana. And I was like, my idol, like queen, like, I love you so much. Like,
that's amazing. Oh my God, I loved her too. I don't think I've ever had a girl crush on her, but she defined my personality as a kid.
I just wanted to be her so much. So that was like, it had to be a girl crush. Cause like, I was just like copying everything about her, like the blonde and like everything. Like I wanted to dye my hair blonde the second that I saw her on the screen.
Yeah, girl. Yes, absolutely. I was obsessed. Have you seen, Rebelde?
Yes, of course.
I was obsessed. I had a very big girl crush on, was it Mia as well? The blonde one?
Yeah, I think so. I think her name was Mia.
I loved her. I was like, yeah, well, I love.
I remember that show. I remember having like I had a maid from, well, not like a maid, she just like when my mom started working, like a woman that would come and like babysit me while my mom was at work. And she was like from Venezuela, and she would always put Rebelde on the TV to shut me up, just like entertain me.
Yeah,
And I got so into it for such a long time. Oh, I loved it.
me too. It was one of my favorite ones.
Mm.
Okay, worst type of man.
Cheap.
Yeah, I was thinking this like the same word in my head. Yes.
I didn't even stutter. Cheap. That's the worst, man. I don't care. Even if they're rich, if they're cheap, kill me.
Yeah,
Kill me.
ew. And lastly, best type of gift.
Money. No, something useful. I mean, I couldn't say that in one word, but utilitarian, something useful, something. I love like receiving gifts because I already have everything, and like I'm already on like a million PR lists, and like I'm constantly getting boxes in the mail. Every day feels like Christmas, and I'm very grateful. So that really doesn't leave me with much room for something for me to like want or covet, because I just probably already have it somewhere in a PR box. So when someone's just like, can I get you some more SD cards for your camera? Or, hey, like, can I get you like a new power bank? Like, so you can like charge like your camera and your equipment while you're on the go. That for me is like everything. I love like a useful gift. Like this little microphone, my dad got this for me. That's so useful. Yeah, I like to put it in my pocket. I take it with me anywhere. It connects to my laptop, connects to my phone. So useful. Love it.
That's amazing because then you don't have to go out there and actually buy it yourself.
Right.
Saves you a lot of time, everything. So
Just when people, and also knowing that like someone thought of me, like, oh, like what is Mia? Because I don't really have like many hobbies anymore. I used to be like a really big on hobby kind of a girl, but my hobbies are just like working and just like making my little videos, because when you love what you do, it never really feels like a job, right? So it constantly feels like, I'm like trying to be creative and like have fun and like do my job. So when someone thinks about me and it's like, oh, like she would really love like having like extra SD cards on her camera so she can like store all her videos. Or like, oh, it's a great gift for her. Like maybe like an external hard drive. Like I'm like, wow, like someone like really thought about me and like something that could just like make my life a little bit easier. That's so sweet.
yes, that's very sweet. I love like thoughtful gift. It's
Absolutely.
yeah.
And they don't have to be expensive. Like it's just like I just want you to know that you like thought about me and you tried. And if someone gives me a gift, but they don't give me a card, I'm like, are you serious? Like the most important thing is the card. Like I told my boyfriend that
I don't care about the gift. I just want to like read your words.
exactly whatever you buy me, there better be like a card right next to it telling you how like I'm the love of your life and like you would literally die if like I died, because that's exactly what I want to hear.
Yes. No, absolutely. My love language is what is it?
Words of affirmation.
Yes, words of affirmation.
Mine's quality time and words of affirmation for sure.
Quality time's a big one too.
Yeah, because like I just kind of like I need to be around them like a lot. Like we need to have time separate, but like when we come home, like when we're done working, like I need to like be able to like sit next to you and like decompress and just like hang out.
Oh yes, me too. I think it's just so important to like have that time with that person, even if you're just like quiet, just sitting next to them.
Right. Right.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so this is the end of it. First of all, I wanted to say thank you. This has been really awesome, really amazing. It was so nice getting to know you better. It was
So nice getting to know you as well. Thank you for having me. This was really fun, and I hope that anyone listening can like at least take a little bit of wisdom out of my completely disorganized, crazy, potentially bipolar mind. And just like be like, you know what? Yeah, we gotta treat ourselves better. The internet, it could be like making us a little bit more socially awkward. But this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna maneuver, and you miss 100% of this the chances that you don't take. So you might as well put yourself out there. And who gives a crap about haters? And like I feel like that's like a great summary, and anyone should just like take that and like adopt that into their lifestyles and like completely understand that the world is crazy. You may be crazy, but the world is crazier. But the world is also your runway. So you might as well get up every single day, slay the day, and do your best, because I feel like life is it's so quick to change. Anything can happen. Anything can happen overnight. Life could be insignificant. Life could be significant. Life could take on multiple meanings. But at the end of the day, realizing that you're just a person, just like all of these other billions of people on earth just chasing a dream, you have to be able to take yourself seriously enough to give yourself a fighting chance if you want to achieve anything in this life. Doesn't matter how much money you have, doesn't matter how much opportunities you have. If you're not putting yourself out there, you're not going to get it. So go and get that bag, girl. Go and get it.
Go and get it and go find rich husband.
Go find rich husbands. Exactly. Period. That's it. Like, bitch. Marry rich.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much again. And guys, I hope you really enjoyed this episode. It was such a pleasure. So fun to be here. This is the first of many podcasts, and I hope you guys liked it. And I'll see you on the next one. So, bye.
Bye.